Our very first Paranormal Pursuits walking investigation ended up being quite interesting. We got more information than we were counting on. We were searching for the lady in white, so we started off at community house number 2, which is where she's been seen. And we started working right away with the spirit box. Well, I use the Ghost Tube Vox app, which I found very effective. Our first question was pretty intriguing.
Can you tell us what your name is?
James.
And it just got even more intriguing.
What's a special event in your life?
From Gaza.
We tried to get more information from James, but we didn't get a whole lot. But this one was kind of interesting.
What year do you remember?
70.
And at the time, we really thought he said 78, and we were trying to figure out if it was 1978 or 1878. But I think we ended up getting our answer. There are a lot of times when we don't actually hear the right answer at the time. Here's a good example. Sarah was holding up some fingers and asked them how many she was holding up.
How many fingers am I holding up?
Acknowledged.
Acknowledged. 3.
So it was not 3, it was 7. But it was a number, which makes it an intelligent response. And this response was a little startling for our friend Heather. He says, "I'm with Heather." And we wondered if there was anyone there with James, so we asked.
Is there anybody here in spirit form besides James?
It's a little hard to understand, but I hear Julius. What do you hear? And then this is just an interesting response. It's intelligent. Listen to this.
How are you feeling?
I hear good, which is a good answer. And then the next two answers kind of go together. Listen to this.
James, what did you do for work?
Harbor.
I hear harbor. And it kind of goes along with this next response that was given to us.
New Orleans.
Clearly hear New Orleans. This last one is a good example of how we hear what we think we hear, but it's not accurate.
Is there any last thing that you want to say to us?
Shadow.
A shadow? Was there a shadow in the window that I missed?
My shadow.
Oh, yeah, your shadow.
How many fingers is the shadow holding up?
Not a great.
3.
Are you holding up 3?
Yep.
Wow, okay.
Let's try it again.
Initially, I thought it said 7, but upon replay, I realized it actually did say 3, so we were right. After we finished up there, we took a walk over to Workingmen's Institute and sat outside on the benches and used dowsing rods to see if we could get a little bit more information, and we got some pretty cool stuff. And I do want to point out that man-shaped shadow behind the people on the tree. You know, I don't know if it's paranormal or not, but it's worth looking at. One thing we learned right off the bat was that James had followed us. Mostly, though, we wanted to learn about the library ghosts who were there, so I told the group a little bit about what I knew. Somebody came to look for a book and couldn't find it. It was in the computer, but it wasn't where it's supposed to be. And a couple days later, the librarian was shelving books, and something fell, and went down and looked. And sure enough, a book had fallen off the shelf. It was that book. So they have a lot of crazy things happen here. So helpful things, like it's not a scary haunting, but it's a fun haunting.
Is the librarian's name Nora? Yes.
Oh. Nora Chadwick Fredijo. She was head librarian here for 11 years back in the 1800s.
And I might add, our leading suspect for the lady in white.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yes, her husband owned Community House Number 2. There's a Fredijo Furniture Company, so she has ties to both buildings.
Oh.
Did your husband own Community House Number 2?
Did you get an answer?
Well, yeah,
Okay.
now we do.
Yes. Okay.
Well, my fingers on it. I'll pass.
So Nora, we know James is over there. Can you show me where you're standing? Can you point to where you're standing, please?
Okay. Over behind you. Yeah, okay.
Are you friends with James? Nope.
Yeah. Well, James has followed us, so.
Nora, did you know James during your life? Yes.
Oh.
Okay, so that gives us an error for James. For yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
For using the light. That's really great. You can keep using that if it's easier for you.
Wow, that's crazy. Good investment, I guess, huh? It finally worked.
Was James sweet on you, Nora? Yes.
Oh, okay.
All right. James, you're being told on.
That's why he hopped, skipped, and jumped right on over here.
Nora, hang on. Did James work for your husband? No. Okay.
Huh, okay. Here's a picture of Nora Chadwick Fredishow. And if you want to pause and read this, the timeline does work. She could have known him.
Nora, are there any other librarians that stay here with you? Yes.
Okay.
Nora, are you the one who's seen on the stairs walking down? Fast yes.
Okay. We got our answer. Well, that was pretty quick. We know who Lady in White is now. It's over. We're done. Let's go home. Just
Have
kidding.
people also seen you in other buildings in town? Yes.
Is this where they saw her at? Is that what you said, Jolene? Is this what she
Well, she's been seen here. She's been seen at Community House number 2. Lowry Hollow is where she lived.
Nora, do librarians always keep working? Yes.
Dedicated.
I hear you've been very helpful sometimes finding things when they're lost in the library. Is that you or one of the other is that you that does it? Yes.
Huh. Wasn't that interesting?
Doing it, maybe.
Yeah.
Do you have help finding lost items? Nope.
So she's the one. Isn't that interesting? She's the one that's finding all the lost books. Okay. James, did you have something to do with Gaza? What you told us, yes. Okay. Did you go to Gaza at one point? Yes. Are you from Gaza? No. Okay. Was it a vacation that you went to Gaza? No.
Is there a war in Gaza?
Context from Tracy that Gaza used to be Palestine. It used to be called
Well, it's all that area,
that area.
but
There was
Megiddo is.
right. Okay. But did you have something to do with Armageddon? I'm not getting an answer. Do you know what Armageddon is? Yes. Did you know Jane Dale Owen Fauntleroy?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you know her cousin? I think it was her cousin, Rosalind. Okay, that's a yes. Did you visit Gaza or Armageddon with her?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to have to dig through the history to find out if she had a friend named James.
Or a worker.
Or a worker, right. Okay.
maybe he was born over there?
Well, really, after digs, there's also a chance New Orleans was a major seaport. So
Yeah.
if they went over, it's possible they could have gone out of New
It is-
Orleans.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so did you come through New Orleans as a seaport? Yes.
Fast, yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Because they could have come on up the Ohio or the Mississippi and come
Okay,
up this
I'm
way.
going to ask a question I know the answer to. But
Did Rosalind live at the Fauntleroy house? Yes, she did.
Oh, she did.
Yeah. Did you ever visit her there? Yes. So we're gonna have to dig on some history and find out if there was a James connected with Rosamond.
Rosamond.
Rosalind?
Something like that.
Yeah, I know. It's been a while since I've seen that. No.
We didn't get it right.
But you know who I'm talking about, right? Yes. Okay.
After some research, we discovered that Rosamond Dale Owen Templeton was actually an author, and she wrote a book, My Perilous Life in Palestine. And here's where it gets really interesting. Guess who she was married to? Her first marriage was to a man named Sir Lawrence Oliphant, who she wed in 1888. He was also an author. He was also a spiritualist, which is really interesting to me. And he owned some land in northern Israel that was called Armageddon. And in the New Testament, it is known as the location for the epic final battle between the forces of good and evil. And that is actually on Rosamond's tombstone. She apparently inherited that land after he died. After her first husband died, she went on to marry James Murray Templeton, and they had one adopted son, Carlos. I couldn't find out much about James Templeton except for the fact that he was an author and that he also owned a Scottish carpet manufacturing firm. And here's a picture of his book. It's only available in Amazon UK, so I really couldn't find out a whole lot about it. But if you're interested, you can probably look into it yourself. We then moved on to the Schnee Robert Elliott house, where there has been a woman in white seen there. Even though we already knew who the woman in white was, we decided that we would do an Estes method. In this experiment, a listener wears headphones connected to a spirit box and tells us what they can hear. And it's usually pretty interesting. Yes. You can talk through Heather. Is there anybody here who would like to talk to us?
No.
Okay.
Is James here?
I don't encourage him.
He was fun though. Is Nora here?
We really didn't catch anything relevant at our last location, but I feel like we walked away with this with a lot of knowledge and a lot of information about New Harmony's history that we didn't know before. If nothing else, we now know who the Lady in White is. Thank you to everyone who attended. We will be hosting additional Paranormal Pursuit walking investigations through the end of the season. Check our website for more information, hauntednewharmony.com.